I pay under $1,000, 1,000 USD, for bills in Thailand. My rent is around $730. My internet bill is around $22. Utilities, which would include water and electric, make up $90 to $100, where 90% of that is the electric. Water is $4 or $5. I have travel insurance through Safety Wing, that includes coverage for my wife and kids. So altogether, that's $114. And then my international plan phone bill I have, it's currently still based in the U.S. with Verizon, is $135. So I think that total, if I'm adding it right, is around $980, $990 for bills and overhead, right? So the necessities, I'm not including food, travel expenses, which will essentially, double that, along with my daughter going to school now. That would put us at around $2,400, $2,500 a month for cost of living, for just expenses out of pocket. But bills is under $1,000. Those are what needs to be paid to keep the lights on, what needs to be paid for us to have shelter, right? Because the other stuff will fluctuate. My daughter doesn't need to be in school right now because she's only 4, but we found a good Thai-based school program for her that is very cost effective. But essentially overhead, communications, and insurance is under $1,000 a month. And it's insane when you see these bills, right? And it's like, wow, like this is really real, I like water, like utilities, just utilities, internet, in America is $500 to $600 for great internet, utilities, right? That's $500, $600, rent and or mortgage will put overhead standardly at $2,000 to $3,000 standardly, right? Where overhead for myself here, my family, is around $850. So what I realized is it's not about degrees. It's not about how much money you can make. It's not about being in a circle or atmosphere where, you got to be the most influential. You got to have the most connections. It's just taking a look at the environment. And that's the environment outside of your environment, right? The whole world, the external environment and your internal environment. The whole world is a landscape, where we we can't close our eyes to. I think of America, or being in a certain state or certain region in America, is like a room within a house, or maybe a house within a neighborhood, so to speak. But there's other houses in that neighborhood, right, that are less detrimental, that it's more affordable, right? That it, smells a little better, that it tastes a little better, that it's healthier, right? So that's my wacky metaphor, right? To saying, you know, Thailand is giving us a peace of mind with bills, with cost of living, right? Where I don't have to wait for SSI or 401k to tap in and have to wait till I'm in my 50s or 60s to experience less expenses. You know, to go from overhead at $4,000 to $4,500 around, you know, last spring, right? Or ultimately expenses being $8,000 to $9,000 a month, right? I'm saving 65 to 70% on expenses, living the same way, if not better. And to me, I'm on the if not better part because I have the flexibility to not have to go to work somewhere, right? And be chained to a timeline on productivity to simply make ends meet. To make ends meet, like, you know, I just look at things very analytical. And it's like, if I'm going to be working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, anywhere, it should be enough to pay my bills easily. It should be enough to pay my cost of living easily. And what many people think that, you know, we don't attribute cost of living, or we can't, you know, understand that cost of living is different from savings. I shouldn't have to be spending everything I make. So I should be able to pay my bills. I should be able to eat. I should be able to have fun with expenses sparingly, right? I think there should be some modesty there. And I still should be able to save, whether I wanted to sit in my account for a rainy day or use a little bit of that money to invest into my future. And I'm not waiting till 35, 42, 58, right? 63, 71, 80 to realize that I shouldn't be living this way. There's no way. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. You know? So with being able to match some of the things that we're used to, some of the same comforts, right? We still got AC. Our internet works perfect. It's great, phenomenal internet for $22, right? You know, like, we're in a great location to where we can walk to convenience stores, right? You know, we could walk, or we could grab or bolt downtown, right? We could head to the beach. We can do leisure things during the week. We don't gotta wait for the weekend. We don't gotta wait to do stuff after the bills are paid. Like, being overseas is not just Thailand, of course. Being overseas, being outside of America, where your life is attached predominantly, if not all of it, is attached to a job, it gives you some flexibility. Just a little bit more options, a little bit more time to develop yourself, you know, with not having a big cost of living. I pay under $1,000 a month for overhead, insurance, and my data plan. Under $1,000. And I have a family that includes my wife and 2 children. We pay under $1,000. bills in Thailand.